Hey guys, how's it going? Dylan here. I just thought I'd do a review on the I guess it's called the Ion DJ Discover turntables. Now I looked over YouTube and I wouldn't say the reviews are really bad, but I don't think they're really good and go over them really the features really well. So I'm just gonna go over them as best as I can, and yeah. So let's do this. Alright guys, so let's just go over a simple overview of the product. Now this set me back about 120 at the source in Canada. If you don't know what the source was the Radio Shack until I don't know what happened, but anyways. In the States I believe it goes for $100 at Best Buy. I believe that's the only other place you can get it. I mean, you can get it retail from Ion, which is I think that's Newmark's company, but yeah. So let's just go over a simple overview. So right here what you have is two turntables. Two for each disc, so channel A, channel B, or turntable 1 and 2. You got your crossfader, definitely, you need that. And then you have your set of sequence buttons. We'll just go over these first. So up here, you probably can't see that well, no you can't. But back here you have two pitch buttons. And I'll explain to you why I don't like these, but two pitch buttons, one for each turntable. You have a master volume knob, which is also bad. You have you have your high knob, so your treble knob right here, that's okay. That's pretty cool. You have your bass knob right here. You have a volume knob here, and then the same thing on the other side. You also have a browse knob. I think you can see that. A browse knob right here. You can click, and then you have the two load buttons. You have a scratch and search button. And then down here, if we move down here, we have the sync, we have a reverse, a cue, and a play button. Now, I'll just go over these things individually. Back to the pitch. Now, we have the pitch here, but the pitch, it's two independent buttons. And basically having the two independent buttons, this means that, so instead of having a slider like the crossfader here, this means you have to hold it down to get your pitch. So instead of setting it, you can have it set for a certain pitch. This may be trouble with the software you're using, which I'll go into detail in a second. But, so next what we have here is a crossfader. It's a simple crossfader, moves very simply, very good. I mean, it moves quickly. I mean, it's not, in the software, it's not set to scratch. It's just meant to go from channel A to B, and that's about it. The turntables are pretty good. They have a nice grip on them. I mean, they spin very well, and they go backwards. I mean, you can use them to move. It's nice in your hand. You can just move it back and forth. So it's a nice spin there. You also have, what's it called? Your load buttons right here. So your load buttons, basically you can use your knob. So rather than keep referring back to your mouse, depending on where your keyboard and mouse is, you could just search through it with this knob and hit load in A or B, and that's what you can do. Below that, the scratch button, this is basically, so when you're within any software you're using, whether it's virtual DJ or mixed deck cross, you can just select it. So when you're mixing, maybe you want to seek through a part of the song and you don't want it to hear the scratch, you'll turn off the scratch and you'll just be seeking through the song. Or maybe you do want to scratch while you're queuing, and then you'll just turn it back on. Now I don't have the software loaded up, but the light normally goes yellow. But as you can see, Windows is just seeing it as that because right now it's just no program is running. So we'll just go over here to the volume knobs. I wouldn't agree that these are the best idea to have these kind of knobs, but I mean it's a small little MIDI controller, so they couldn't fit anything else on it. But these don't come in handy because a lot of times you might be mixing and you want to change it and move it, but you can't because of the simple fact that these, I mean, they're harder to turn rather than just having a little slider, and that's why I kind of disagree that they put them like that. Aside from that, we have the sync button, two sync buttons. Using mixed deck, I think it's called, or mixed vibes, cross DJ. These buttons, they're not as accurate, so you have to line up your song and figure out exactly where it is. And you'd have to configure the song, and I could show you that in a second within the software. You have a reverse button. Reverse button is simple. It just plays the track backward for you. You have a cue button, set cue points. Just hit that. You have your play and your pause button. Same thing for this side as well. I mean, aside from that, I'll just give you my quick thoughts. This turntables, they're pretty good. I mean, if you're just starting off, it's a great set of turntables just to start off with. I mean, it's nothing if you wanted to go out in the club and start DJing. If you're learning how to DJ, perfect thing to start off with, just to learn how to get, how to mix, how to cue, all kinds of things. I mean, I'm not learning anymore. I mean, I think I mean, as a DJ, you're always learning, you know, but I think I'm past this stage. I mean, it's time to get more equipment. It's time to move up to something way better. I don't really use these anymore. I have a crew that I use their equipment with. So what I'm going to do now is switch over to the screen, and we are going to show how the software that comes with it and which one I use. Alright guys, now you're looking at the software that comes with the Ion Discover DJ. This is Mix Vibes Cross DJ 1.50, I believe that is the version. There is an updated version and it does work with it, but this is the one that is shipped with it. I'm just showing you. I'm pretty sure they're going to start shipping it with the newer version, possibly. But that version is, you can use vinyls with it, so it's a whole nother thing. So this is basically the interface you're looking at. It has a collection. So the collection is basically the music you've played over a span of time. So I played about 159 songs. I don't really use this software, and I'll explain why. And this is just basically the songs that Cross has remembered, basically like its BPMs, anything you've done, like cue points, and that's basically what it is. You can go to info, so here's the info about the track and whatnot about it. You can go into playlists, so you can set up individual playlists within Cross and have them there, and then you can actually have it auto DJ itself. You have the Explorer, so if you had like an external drive or maybe a CD player, put a CD in there, you just pop your CD in and then find the drive within the drop down. And then of course you have iTunes. So iTunes integration is probably the best thing that it has, for the fact that it allows you to, I mean, say iTunes is generic. Usually people use iTunes to set up their music library, you know, put all your music in there, and then you can set up your playlists however you want. So this comes in handy rather than setting up your playlist in iTunes and now you got to set it up in another software. So now you can just all use them right here, and it will view everything here. So just recently, I don't know why I haven't deleted these yet, but my Christmas playlists are still there. So if I just wanted to, I could go through there. And that basically describes there. So now if you take a look up here, here is your waveform for your tracks, and you can just view them that way. And then it just shows you where like kicks are. So right there, you can see a kick's right there. That's where specifically a kick is. And if you just take a look right here, within the main console of the mixer, whatever I control here, you can see like this is the volume right here. The same knobs we were showing you earlier, controls there. You got the bass right there. That's what's getting controlled. And then right there, the master volume and your crossfader all gets controlled. The mouse is over here. Yeah, it's being controlled. The pitch now, which I wanted to show you, as I was showing you now, a pitch fader on a regular turntable looks like this. You bring it up and down, and that's typically how you can have it. Just reset that there. Now, when you're using your turntables, this is how you have to move in. This is how slow it's moving in. As you can see, it moves by ones. I'm pretty sure you could probably change this in some way, but I don't know how to. And if you can change it, I don't see why it's not the default option that I have to change it. You know, it's very slow, and I don't think while the track is playing you can change it. So that's basically what it is, and you can just check out basically. Right now, you can just check out. I'll just show you the buttons. The play button works. Bring it back to that cue point you had it set. You'll have to hit Q. So Q is just basically right there. You just keep hitting that. And if you're playing it, you can start reversing that track. Hit Q again, brings it back. And the sync button, now I'll just show you it, and I'll show you why I don't think it's accurate, and then I'll show you another software, and I'll show you why that one's more accurate. So I'll be playing this track right here. I have the crossfader. Oops, that has a reverse on. The funny thing is, the moment I did that, it actually went on sync, which is very rare. So that's very rare that I've ever done that, and I've gotten it on sync. It's funny that I'm recording the video and the track went on to sync, and you could hear that it was in tune. So that doesn't normally happen. But the reason why that happens because, as you can see, these songs have the same BPM, basically 89.5, 89.5. Well, I synced it, but as you can see on my library here, it says 89.5 and 89.85. So I'll just take two other tracks and I'll try it again with two other tracks. So So basically we'll just use these two tracks right here and we'll show you, let's see if it will do it this time.
Alone in the cabin, somewhere in Aspen. Girl, ain't nothing to the pain, ain't tricking if you got it, what you asking for? Put you in a mansion, somewhere in Wisconsin. Like I said, ain't nothing to the pain, I can change the last name, what's happening? She all up on my thing, she look so good. Tell me why you know how to act.
As you can see, the songs were not in sync as it normally should be, and this is why I say I do not trust the sync button. So there's many things you can use in here. You can use the loop feature, so you can put it in 1/8. I mean, I don't know which DJ uses that, but and then you can have the match that it will. So if you had two exact tracks, it'll match it right up for you. You put on the reverse feature for yourself, and then you can change the pitch range, so you can have it longer and have so you can have, so rather than having a short pitch, so this one maximizes to 32, you can have it max out to 100, right? So basically I leave it on 100 because it's just easier that way. And then you have locations. I don't see the point of these, the locations. I mean, I don't know if it's marker for yourself because I use cue points, and cue points are easier that way. So, and that's basically it for the software. It does have headphones, and one good feature about this, it does, so if you did have like an external like turntable, you can plug it in on the line in. That's great. And it does have headphone support. You can record your tracks here, and in switching this, it'll show you hitting that scratch. Remember what I was telling you, the scratch button, it goes from CD mode to vinyl mode. So, and that's about it. And you could go mess around in the settings, but I'm not going to show you that. So now I'm going to show you the software that I currently use. So as you might have guessed it, the software I currently use is Virtual DJ. Virtual DJ is much easier, intuitive, and not mainly because of the sync button, but the sync button works much better than it. I like the setup of Virtual DJ no matter what skin you're using. I think it's much better. I think the waveform that you can see that it has is much more accurate, so you can read it much easier, and that's why that's typically why I use that one. So I'll just show you the sync button working with 2-track. Let's just get the BPM at reasonable levels. Let's pick some okay songs to mix with. We'll just load up the 2 songs we were using before in different spots. So let's just try it out.
Alone in the cabin, somewhere in Aspen. Girl, ain't nothing to the pain, ain't tricking if you got it, what you asking for? Put you in a mansion, somewhere in Wisconsin. Like I said, ain't nothing to the pain, we can change the last name, what's happening? Cause you look so good.
Of course, you wouldn't bring in a song like that ever. You would never ever bring in a song like that. But that's definitely, it just shows that the sync works better. I mean, in Mixed Vibes, it will jump the song, so it'll move it where it thinks it should be. Rather in Virtual DJ, you have to drop it, so you kind of have to know where you're gonna drop it. But it's better off. It doesn't move it doesn't move it, so that's why I think it's better. But basically, the same features work within there. I know the volume slide doesn't work, but it works with the gain. The treble and bass still work. Everything still works for the most part. I mean, it controls the master volume. It does everything still. So, and that's basically my review on the Ion Discover DJ. I know it was a bit long, but thanks for bearing with me, guys. Thanks for watching as usual.